Welcome. My name is Dr. Christine Soda, and I am the lead counselor here at Central High School. I've been here this is my 16th year in my role as counselor. I am joined by Heather Wardlaw, who is one of 6 counselors here with me, and we will be providing information for students, counselors, families related to Central High School. And so we'll just jump right in. So the purpose of this session is to provide information related to our school, Central High School. As you know, Central High School is a criteria-based school, so there is admission criteria, which we'll review. But the big focus for Mrs. Wardlaw and I is to really talk about Central High School as a post-secondary planning school, where we hope to do our best as a staff to prepare students for that next step. With that, we will also talk about extracurricular activities, sports, more school-specific information, and really what sets us apart from other schools and more. So in terms of student life, I'm not going to read all of this to you. Academics, we have a slew of academic courses from your basic English, math, history, social studies to world language to elective classes in the arts, music, art theory, things like that. All of our classes are taught at the advanced level in an effort to try to mimic sort of preparing students for that next level education. There are a couple designations. So our intro level classes are taught at the advanced level, but we also include or have available honors level classes, as well as advanced placement or AP classes, and then our International Baccalaureate program or IB classes. Central has over 80 clubs available to students. That number fluctuates from year to year. There are certain specific requirements to start a club. Those clubs can be found on centralhigh.net, which is our website, if you look for clubs and organizations. The clubs really range, as you see here: academic, cultural, religious, health, lifestyle, life 101, classes like that. Central offers all the sports that the school district offers, so approximately 30 different sports. Our sports cover the fall, the winter, and the spring, and we have both boys and girls teams. We do have a couple co-ed teams in terms of our swimming program, our golf program, cross country, track and field. One of the unique features that sets Central apart is that we do require students to complete community service hours. This year, there was a little incentive. Our president gave a little incentive for our students if they completed their community service at a nonprofit organization by January 4th. They were able to sort of reduce their hours by 5. And so another little change and tweak is because we recognize that sometimes it's hard for 14, 15-year-olds to find community service availability. Our, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, our 9th and 10th grade have to complete 20 hours, and our 11th and 12th graders have to complete 25 hours. Yes? 30 hours.
9th and 10th grade, the incentive is 15 by January, and then 20 after that by May. 25
Gotcha.
for 11th and 12th graders before January, and then 30 by May.
Gotcha. Sorry, I got a little confused about that. So moving on, what do students like about our school? I would say the most important and what we hear most often is the diversity of our student body and our faculty and staff. We really encourage inclusivity and engagement by all students, hence the reason for the community service hence the large variety of clubs and organizations and sports that are available. We try to support students the best we can with where the students are. So we offer, Mrs. Wardlaw and I are both counselors, so we really try to promote academic as well as social emotional learning skills, study skills, organizational skills. We are available to support students really where they are, and really try to meet their unique needs. As I mentioned, we have the extracurricular programs, which I strongly believe that there is a connection between student engagement, relationships, and students' academic achievement. I think when students have that healthy balance, we see students performing better academically and also with more positive sort of social emotional sort of feelings and behavior. So admissions criteria, as I mentioned, Central is one of a few criteria-based schools. We follow the district sort of protocol in terms of families and students having to apply through schoolselect.philasd.org. We usually get a lot of applications, right? And the district, we are part of sort of the district's lottery sort of protocol. In order to be considered for the lottery through the school district, students need to have grades of A's and B's, an overall attendance percentage, meaning you're coming to school, 95%. So that means you're coming to school 95% of the time. And then your PSSA standardized test score must be in the 88th percentile. We do often get a lot of questions if we're out in schools talking. We do get a lot of questions from students and families. Well, I have 1C. Because the district initially sort of puts, reviews students' application for these 3 specific items. My sense is that a C will not qualify you. You're going to want to make sure that once the application process, once you submit your application through School Select, you're going to want to make sure that you're checking your email. Students, we usually get a majority of our students who are applying from 8th grade into 9th grade, but we do have opportunities for students who may have attended school elsewhere for 9th grade, who may want to consider Central for 10th grade. They would go through the similar process. Some of the key questions when you're thinking about the high school selection process, the big one, are your strengths and interests aligned with what we have to offer here at Central? So Central in its inception was created to be sort of a college preparatory school. Over the years, we have peeled back the layer a little bit to be more inclusive of sort of post-secondary planning. We here at Central are seeing an uptick in students who are enrolling in in trade schools and or the military. And so, that's why that label of college planning was sort of peeled back, because we want to make sure that all students feel like they're being supported in terms of their post-secondary options. The second piece, which I alluded to, is do you meet the criteria? So the grades, the attendance, the standardized test score. Based on where you live, Central attracts students from all over the city. And so considering hopping on public transportation early in the morning, commuting to Central, do you have sort of after school commitments that may require you to be at home for younger siblings, let's say, or to help out with your parent? There are really sort of factors that should play into your decision. So I mentioned before that we do have our courses, all of our courses are taught at the advanced level, but we do have two specific type of courses where the potential exists for you to earn college credit, based on how you score. So advanced placement courses are offered through the College Board. There are particular items that teachers have to cover. And the hope is that you are prepared as students, our students who take AP classes, to take an end of the year or end of course assessment. Usually those assessments are in May, the middle of May, where you have the opportunity, based on the score of that test, to be able to then share those scores with colleges and earn particular credit. Our International Baccalaureate program has a little bit of a different twist. It still has end of the year courses. It is a structured curriculum, so students are applying for that program in the spring of their 10th grade year. We have on average 60 students who begin a 2-year journey in the International Baccalaureate program. You have the opportunity, based on the total number, your total score, so the total, all of your end of the year classes, you earn a final score that might afford you the opportunity to be a diploma candidate within the International Baccalaureate program. These final year classes and that diploma designation, depending on where you apply to college, could give you an up in terms of that diploma or those end of the year course scores, affording you credit at the college level. This PowerPoint is going to be shared, and these these are hyperlinks, so you'd be able to see the list of our courses in the International Baccalaureate program. Again, you can also find these courses on centralhigh.net. You'll be able to see sort of the subject selection guide and the core curriculum. Again, centralhigh.net offers an opportunity for you to see what students are taking what year. The core curriculum includes 23.5 credits in order to earn your high school diploma. Of those, just to name a few, you'd be taking 4 years of English, you'd be taking 4 years of history or social studies, 3 years of required math, 3 years of required science, and 2 years of the same world language. There are opportunities for electives and some other requirements, but that just sort of gives you sort of the scope of what that core curriculum is. Within that core curriculum, that's where you might be able to take an honors level class or an AP class or an IB class to fulfill one of those requirements. Mrs. Wardlaw, are you ready to take over?
Okay, sure.
I think I went a little too far, and I do apologize, Mrs. Wardlaw.
That's okay. I was trying to count the slides, but so Central High School, we have specific bell schedules for specific times. For the most part, our day begins at 8 a.m. and it ends at 3:04 p.m. In terms of our bell schedule, it may be a little bit more unique than some other high schools because we have such a large population. Our students do have lunch every period of the day, with the exception of our advisory or homeroom period, which is usually occurring from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. in the morning. So quite possibly students can have lunch starting around 9 o'clock in the morning, all the way towards the end of the day. The other bell schedules are used on days when we have half days, or if we have any kind of snow days or anything like that, or if we're having special events in the building, our bell schedule may be adjusted on those given days. So extracurricular activities. Central has lots of extracurricular activities, as Dr. Soda mentioned early, we have over 30 JV sports and over 30 varsity sports. Mr. Drayton is our athletic director, and so students and or parents can reach out to him if they have specific questions about specific sports and how that is managed throughout the day, especially if students are playing multiple sports, if they have to leave school early to participate in a specific sport because it's at a different school. He is the coordinator of all of that, including the specific coach for the team. So in terms of clubs, as Dr. Soda said, we have over 80 plus clubs. What I love about our community is that if we don't have a club, then students are able to start one. I just had, prior to our presentation, a student come and ask if we have archery here. Because that is an interest of theirs. And so we do not have archery. And so I explained to that student that if that is something that the student would like to see, then they could reach out to Ms. Whittle and discuss that with Ms. Whittle to determine how they go about starting that particular club, and whether that even could be something that would be considered a sport at some point. But Ms. Whittle is the coordinator for the Student Association. She oversees all of the clubs in the building, making sure that students are creating bylaws and creating information about their clubs and advertising, but also just as important, making sure that each club has a specific faculty sponsor so that there is an adult who is attached to the club and making sure that everything is okay with the running of the club. Some other unique things that we have here at Central are showcases. In particular, this month, because it is Hispanic Heritage Month, we are celebrating in some of our clubs that are based on with our Latino culture, are putting on a showcase to demonstrate some of their cultural things within the Latin culture. We had a freshman tea last Friday where each club in our building created a I guess a billboard, you would say, in a sense, giving some information about what the club is, how to join the club, and just some highlights about their particular club. So that was a wonderful event, and all of those posters are hanging out in our main hallway, which is really awesome to see. So again, if a student wants to start a club, they are more than welcome. If we don't have something here, and they are more than welcome to join any club that they're interested in. All right, student eligibility. This comes in with students being able to participate in all of those wonderful things that Dr. Soda and I talked about during the presentation in terms of clubs and sports and special events. Students have to remain eligible for those things. And so as long as they are earning a C or higher in all of their classes, then they are eligible. But in the event that we have students who struggle, they will wind up on the eligibility list if they have either, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Soda, if they have 2 or more Fs or 3 or more Ds in any class, then they will wind up on our ineligibility list, which means that for a period of time, usually it lasts about 6 to 8 weeks, they are being monitored to see if they are doing what is necessary to pull those grades up. And then at the end of that time period, if they have pulled their grades up to satisfactory, then students are able to apply to come off of that list and be eligible to participate in all of the things that we have to offer. If they remain on the list, there will be another opportunity during the year for them to apply to come off of the list. So we really take a restorative approach to students struggling and being able to get back to participating in our community fully.
And Mrs. Wardlaw, I just wanted to add too that Central sees attendance and lateness as important factors to our school community. And so the notion behind that and the research shows that, students who come to school on time and who attend every class, learning is happening, and almost guarantee. So that also can impact your eligibility as well, the academic piece, because if you're not here, you fall behind, and we do our best to try to sort of avoid that.
Okay, one of the other things that we have is the National Honor Society. This is open to our junior and senior students that have a 4.0 or higher GPA. And I say higher because we do have higher level courses that will allow students to have a higher GPA than just a normal 4.0. There is an application process, and teachers or other faculty in the building do recommend specific students who fit the criteria for the National Honor Society. Some of the things that I know that the National Honor Society do in years, they've provided peer tutoring for students who are struggling, but they also have done community service projects as a way and as a part of this particular community. So some of the students that I've had that have participated, they really have felt like this was something that allowed them to gain leadership skills and to demonstrate, all of the things that they have to offer to other peers, not only in the school, but outside of the school community as well. Okay, supports and services. So we have lots of resources here at Central High School. We're not everything isn't always perfect, but it goes, from administration. We have a strong alumni network. Our alumni usually reach all the way around the world, and our alumni love to give back to our school community and to know what's going on in our school community, and really are supportive of making sure that every student has what they need, from resources to mentorship and so forth. At our school, we have something called the Bridge Leadership Program. This program is specifically for Black and Brown students, although there have been other students of other races who have participated over the years, but it is really a program to bridge between students graduating 8th grade and now coming into the building as 9th graders, a way to prepare them for what they will encounter here at Central High School in terms of the academics. It is also focused upon social emotional learning. So we do a lot of things around getting students prepared to understand not only themselves, but understand who they are in this community, and helping them with their academic endeavors also. There is a class sponsor for each of our grade levels. Dr. Soda is actually our 10th grade class sponsor, and we just had class elections to elect our officers for each of our classes, from president to secretary and so on. Obviously, we have coaches, and Dr. Soda and I are part of the school counseling staff, and on to our lunch staff, nurses, teachers. One of the other unique things that we have in our building is it's no longer called Philadelphia Future Stepping Stones. It is now called Heights. But through that office, we have Kyrie, who helps us with our college access and college applications for students. So he is a great help to our department as well. And of course, our school resource officers. So we have lots of people and things in the building to help support students with whatever they have on their plates at any given time. All right. So transportation, I know this is a big thing for lots of students because as Dr. Soda mentioned, students are coming literally from all over the city to our school. And so some of them obviously live in the neighborhood. They're close enough to walk to us and get here maybe on their bike or through some other means that they have personally. But for those students who do not have access in that way and who live at least 1.5 miles or more from our school, they are assigned a SEPTA key card. They are able to use that, I believe, from maybe 6 a.m. until 7, 8 p.m. in the evening. And so, in terms of students coming from far away, they shouldn't have a problem with accessing transportation if their parent and or guardian isn't able to get them here personally. Students that have special circumstances, let's say they are a student that has an individual education plan or IEP plan, or they have a 504 plan that specifies that they need some other mode of transportation, such as the yellow bus or maybe even a cab service, then that is something that will be provided to them through those specific documents, and then which then will be communicated to the school district to let them know that the student needs those services. So the accessibility of our school in terms of traveling here shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, fun facts and just little photos. I am going to attempt to try to show maybe just the history. We do have lots of notable alumni. The one that always stands out to me, and I probably am dating myself a lot, is from the Three Stooges, Larry from the Three Stooges. He is one of our notable alumni. And so I'm giving away a little bit of my age because that was a show that I watched when I was younger. But I'll try to click on this history of Central High School just so you can see it and see our website, but that didn't work. Let me go back. Let's see. Are you guys able to see that it switched or no? Okay, so this is our website. Our website is really comprehensive, and on our website, you can see our history. We have a little voice video there, and then you can see what the original school building used to look like, which wasn't on this property. It was actually downtown somewhere, and it gives all the rundown of how Central came to be and so forth. So if you are a history buff or you just want to know, this would be an excellent place to start, and then you can explore any and all things Central through this website as well. All right, so thank you so much. We are happy to have been able to be here and just give you a little bit of information about Central High School. And so now we'll open it up to any questions that anyone may have.